All right. Peace, peace, peace. All right. So, welcome to Movie Innerstandings. I'm Achi, and today we talking about um the devil's advocate, right? But as we get into that, some things is like, what is an advocate? Big word. And an advocate, is someone who defends or maintains, a cause or proposal, or one who supports or promotes the interests of a cause or group, So you're gonna see that a lot in this movie. Basically, that's pretty much what a lawyer is. You know what I'm saying? It's an advocate. Whether prosecution or defense, you know what I'm talking about? But Shalom, Master Migulek, and Shalom, Sister Deidre already. And Shalom G, you know what I'm talking about? But when we start this one off, you know what I'm saying, we already starting off in the courtroom. You know what I'm saying? The setting already is the courtroom already. You know what I'm talking about? And right now, Barbara, you know, who's the victim and the witness is on the stand. You know what I'm talking about? And she's giving her account on what happens with the accused, you know, Mr. Getty. You know what I'm talking about? Or Geddes, Mr. Geddes. You know. And as she's giving her account, Kevin Lomas, which played by Keanu Reeves, you know what I'm talking about? He's looking at her, then looking at him and seeing how he's touchy-feely with the desk and himself. Already knows that this dude is guilty, but he's on the defense. He's his defense lawyer. He's like, oh man, So he calls, for a recess. You know what I'm saying? Because he don't know what to do. Already you see a conflict in morality in a sense. Where he knows now that defending this guy is wrong, but he has to anyway. Now he can, do the right thing or he could do the wrong thing. But he takes a break and, reporter, Larry, he comes into the bathroom too, as he's splashing water on his face. And, he gives that line, it's a nice run, kid. Had to close out Sunday. Nobody wins them all. But, once that happens, Kev, basically he attacks, Barbara for having a problem with discipline, having disciplinary problems, having disciplinary actions, which was the reason for her, staying after class and things like that. And he uses, basically lawyer techniques, to explain his points, you know what I'm saying, or to disarm her witness argument in a sense, you know what I'm saying. Talking about how she would, blackmail the other kids that was at, playing this game called Special Places and things like that. I guess it's like 7 minutes, what they call 7 minutes of heaven. We know, did we play that game? Anyway, you probably did play that game, but I forgot. Or I wasn't invited to that party, but I knew about it. But yeah. And so by destroying her argument, man, that little girl looked guilty as sin. She had squinty eyes. Said that scream. Renee Zellweger face. And those mean eyebrows, guilty as. You know what? Guilty, I say. Guilty. Already, Chief. Yeah, you use the physiognomy of it. She looks guilty. She don't look like no victim. That girl look mean and squinty. Like, something ain't right. If you go that route, And by disarming, Barbara, he caused a commotion in the courtroom, and the court had to adjourn and whatnot. And so, after that, him and his wife, Marianne, and all their friends, they go to the country club. And we don't mean golf, we mean country club. you know, this ain't the juke joint. It's a country club. You know, and they be drinking and whatnot. You just see him just acting a fool drunk. you know, just plumb crazy. But then he's met by Lehman Hitch, or well Heath, Lehman Heath, and he, comes and recruit him for Milton Chadwick and Waters, what I'm talking about, saying, hey yo, we need you to come up to New York and choose Jewish for us, and we'll pay all the expenses, what I'm talking about. And he think it's a joke. He was like, hey, this ain't no joke, but hey, don't believe me, read yourself, what I'm talking about. So after that, we see him go to a church, his mom's church, what I'm talking about, and talk to his mama about you know, going up north for this, and she thinks, oh, it's Marianne, says it's all her, how some mamas is. It's all her idea. What I'm talking about? But you hear them sing a song, Romans 6:16-19, what I'm saying? I thought they were saying Romans 16:19-10. Don't ask me why. It just sounded like they did. But if you pay attention to that verse, what I'm saying, it's really follows for your obedience. It is come abroad unto all men. I am glad, therefore, on your behalf, but yet I would have you wise unto that which is good and simple concerning evil. You know, yeah, and simple concerning evil. That's the verse. But sometimes, it's sometimes better to read up ahead and sometimes read below, to really understand what's being said and things like that. Now, if read like up to like verse 17, it says, now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause division and offenses, um, contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them, for they are such um serve not our Lord Jesus Christ, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. And then if you read 20, and the God of peace, shall bruise Satan under your feet shortly. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, we be with you. Amen. So they sing that part of the song anyway, but you would know unless you read, one for use of, she says, one for use of colorful backdrops and clothing throughout the film. You see it in the proposition at the club and then at the church. Later on the apartment with the paint. Yeah, the colors was nice palettes, nice palettes. As she said, it was nice palettes. You gotta pick your palette. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, be excellent, and be good, be innocent of really. Oh, you doing what about I? You see, I'm the one that's singing of evil. But bruh, you know, yeah, they were singing a song, but it's always good to have context. But I like how in 18, the last verse or sentence, what I'm saying, is, tells you, by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. Because that's what's happening through all this film. You hear good words, and good speeches, in this courtroom, and from Kevin and John Milton. Everybody's giving good speeches. Everybody's giving good words. You know what I'm saying? But as he's, talking to his mother, she don't pretty much want him to go up there, and she, talks to him more or gives another verse, about Babylon. Fallen, fallen has Babylon the Great. Which is, basically Revelations. Did I add it? Oh, I did not add it. Dang, I thought I did. Okay, there was one Bible verse. I forgot uh anyway. But basically it talks about Babylon and what's going on there. And then he gives a verse back on what happens to Babylon. So I had the whole verse, but then I forgot to put it in the notes. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. But that's what she feels like he's going to, New York, the new Babylon, New York City, And fallen is Babylon Great. But it's a revelation. You gotta put that in context, that Babylon will fall, and that's where he's going, what I'm saying, and whatnot. But him and Marianne, the professor and Marianne, John Milton was a poet who wrote Paradise Lost. That was a nice touch for for them to use that name. Oh, didn't know that, G. I didn't know that, But they go up to New York, they go up to New York City, you know what I'm saying? And Kevin, picks the jury, and he wins, the not guilty verdict with his jury, But you see his ego and vanity play out of it, like you say, I'm too good at this, like it's sort of, for me to explain it, it's like that part in Casino when Ace was like, hey man, I pick winners, you know what I'm saying? I can pick winners, I can make money, man. I can still make money back home, I'm good at it. And that's how he is, but he real, egotistical with it. Like, I'm too good, you know what I'm talking about? And so, because he picked that jury, he gets, get to see, John Milton. And what's interesting about, John or whatever, is the question, and how he talks to him. He probes into him. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell me about your family. How some people, and whatnot, but they basically are negotiating a job, a lawyer job there, because they're opening a new criminal firm or criminal law firm, and they want Kevin in it. So, but he probes his family background first. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they went up. She say they went up to NYC from Florida, like going up into another level of heaven to wage a level of war. Yeah. Also fitting when you look at how the protagonist resolves his dilemma, it was all higher up. Yeah. It was all higher up. For sure, Chief. For sure. You know what I'm talking about? Because he, they basically look like they on the ceiling, well, the roof, I ain't going up there. But from that height, you see everything. You can see the dang on, Statue of Liberty, you see the Brooklyn Bridge, you see everything, but he talks about, I want to see how you handle pressures, because some people focus and others fold. You know what I'm saying? But that's one thing you're gonna have to deal with. Working with us. You know what I'm talking about? And Kevin and Marianne decide to take the job. Together. It's like, well, we can stay up here. Or we can go back to Florida. Where we you scrounging up, clients, and she repossesses cars. That was cool. If you ever had your car repo, how they do that, bro? Be silent at night, man. Be amazing how they just wait for you on a stakeout and just take your take your ride, or what you think is your ride. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, So you got country people in the big city, country people in the big city. You know what I'm talking about? And you know, after that we see, his first case is the Philippe Moyes case. Which is Moyes, played by Delroy Lindo. He basically Haitian, and basically the police, well, yeah, you can't say home invade why he, basically killing a goat or performing a ritual. You know what I'm talking about? So, which they have on tape. You know what I'm talking about? And so he goes to see him because he's out on bail. And one thing that Moyes says is that we have an investment in blood, spiritual currency. Um, I like, yeah. Uh, Master Minion Leg says, I like Pacino's depiction of this character, even how he rarely blinks. Yeah. Now that you mention it, the people in New York were all fixated on how high their view was of the city. Yeah, it's like that with with people from big cities. We try to gauge our wealth, or how well we're doing by how high up probably in apartments we are, or where we where we're located in the sense. For us it would probably well, from where I'm in Chicago, you know it'll be the magnificent mile or whatever, the Gold Coast, as some of us call it, and how sometimes how high up you are where you can see the lake, or it's not called Seals Tower anymore. I'm still gonna call it Seals Tower or whatever, but see Seals Tower, John Hancock. You got the view of the skyline. Makes you feel superior, I guess. But yeah, people do that. And so you have that. And one thing that Moyes does, he says, "What's the name of the assist, basically the assistant DA?" Kevin gives the name, and he says, "I'm gonna help you out," which he does a ritual, a silencing ritual. You see, with the nails and the tongue. Don't look like no ghost tongue. That look like a cow tongue, whatever. But yeah, he does a ritual for that. You know what I'm saying? Um, she said, right, this Cheeto in the savage years, he outlined it when he said he only travels on the ground. He travels through there's a conscious attempts within the pride that will make you fall from on high. I agree with you, Chief, because I was like, he's never above ground. He stays below ground. You know what I'm saying? Um Already, that was hex work, 1-on-1 already, Chief. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, but he stays below ground. You know, I I thought that was interesting, but also I was like, yeah, he, because that's how he moves. He moves fast underground or whatever. Don't use this the excuse of taking the A train to to Harlem or whatever, uptown. Saying that's just basically the realm in a sense. But you have that, but then you see um Marianne's trying to cope with one, not having a job, and having to paint this big apartment that look like it's been there since the 30s. A lot, um, a lot of New York apartments look like that. If you like it for the oldness of it, but yeah, you know. But she has to paint that, and she's use different types of green, and it's becoming a problem because Caribbean green. Well, this ain't this ain't Caribbean, but and Jackie trying to help out. She's like, "Not with your complexion." I found that funny. Like, oh, but anyway, um, and she just using palette. She ain't even just saying, use this, use that. She just scribbling all over the wall. You're like, you got to, but you know, she's finding it frustrating. And Kevin has to work more hours and whatnot. He's not there to help out in a sense, so um that's becoming a problem. You know what I'm saying? So Jackie give her some advice, that she could work, she could play, or she could breathe. It was like, yeah, I forget. Well, just think of Ronnie and Players Club. Bam. Don't give me no Ronnie. But anyway, you know, but when Kevin attacks the Moyes case, in court, he attacks it from a standpoint of religious freedom, using his First Amendment, and basically using kashrut, or I would say, kosher butchering, uh, to basically prove his point that Philippe Moyes is innocent of the charges that's been brought against him, in a sense that he's just a priest practicing basically um kosher butchering, you know, underground or whatever. So that's what's really happening. So he gets the dismissal now, but um then he meets John, who's actually there watching him. You know, he said, "Well, who knew Philippe Moyes? Had millions of dollars in the bank account. But he lives, you know, basically in a dilapidated, building. Let's just say it like that. You know." But then, John said some of the coolest lines. I used to love these dang on lines. You know what I'm saying? 15 a lot. um oh 15 million in the bank. Okay. Like, I'm confused. I know what a line I is, but she ain't from me. But yeah, 15, he got 15 million in the bank. You know what I'm talking about? But he says, he knows his, Kevin's, cockiness, and you can see Kevin's cockiness. You can see his cockiness by just how he dresses. The guy wears, alligator boots to court, and they shine. They look good, but I mean, you ain't on the. You ain't on the blade, about to. But yeah, he got on alligator shoes and alligator boots, and just styling on them. But I mean, but even John knows that. He's like, man, you too cocky. But then like I said, you missing what I'm having. You know what I'm talking about? You got to never let them see you coming. Gotta be a surprise. And then he gives an analogy. There's this, this girl, that I'm not gonna give the analogy. It's too much. Any other time I would, but but he's like, I'm the hand up Mona Lisa's skirt. No, I'm a surprise, Kevin. They don't see me coming. That's what you're missing. You know what I'm saying? Milton's favorite line. They'll never see me coming. Exactly. That was my favorite lines. Yeah. It was a great analogy. Because some of well, if you've ever, if you've ever been put in that actual position, I know Chief has. But then again, Chief, you tall, but ain't nobody go underestimate you. But if you're someone like me, when I first got that, got got that analogy, and it happened to me, I was like, that's what it means to be surprised. Because I didn't even expect that to happen. But it did. you know. So yeah, you gotta be a surprise, what I'm talking about. But they go to the bar Zoom party or whatever. And one thing you see John talking to Marianne. And one thing, John, if you ask me, John talks like a like a legit pimp. And, when he's talking to Marianne, what I'm talking about, because he gives her advice, advice or whatever. But he's like, um, you should put your hair up. You know what I'm saying? I would do it myself, but people would think that we, just, tell us about low. That's why they got you low. Creep up from the side, and before you know your boots are tucked under the futon. Well, they one tucked under the futon, but but chill out with the toothpick in his mouth. Where's my breath? I don't like toothpicks. I mean, I had one in there, but I was like, man, that's for New Yorkers. I ain't about to have no dang on toothpick in my mouth. But yeah. Like but I was looking under my bed, it was like, oh, this one left the calling card. You know what I'm talking about? She left the calling card. I'm like, you go mess up. you know, you didn't forget. You didn't forget that. You just left that over there like a territory mark. Like I used to call it, leaving a calling card. But yeah, I'll tell you that. But you have that. But then he says, you should go back to your natural color. Usually you give a woman advice on her hair. Nowadays you be like, what you mean? But he did it in a cool, smooth, and convincing way. I'm talking about, real subtle with, in his tone and mannerism and everything like that. Like I say, he was giving us he was nagging on her, right? That's what I thought he was doing. Because it felt like, it was like, oh, because at first, at the party, and Marianne's like, who's that guy? And then, Jackie and others like, oh, he can hear us. Hell, he can smell us. They already know he a predator, in a sense where not like that, but he's a predator, an apex predator, animal predator, So you already know, what I'm talking about. But I thought that was real cool because she was going. Because if you see, she in the mirror and she is just smiling. She closed her eyes like, she was ready. She was going, and already, enthralled by, the sweet tongue, what I'm saying, the honey mouth, that he was dripping down on her, what I'm talking about. It was prevalent to see, what I'm saying, but I never paid attention to, the nonverbal communication, because there was nonverbal communication that I just did pick up on, when I first watched this movie and kept on watching. I never paid attention to that, but yeah, and also you see Kevin talking, to Christabella, what I'm talking about, and already we know she's the archetype of the fiery temptress, or what the chick red. She got red hair. She Italian. She she hitting all the spots, top out or whatever, and but there's always suggestive language. They're flirting with each other and whatnot, and you can already see the foreshadow. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was interesting how Crystal Bella was talking about how the building that Kevin lived in was a family building. You know what I'm talking about? And I thought that was so telling. You know what I'm saying? She didn't. He denies the toothpick. Yes, I deny the toothpick. I won't deny the boots, but I will deny the toothpick. you know, you know. If they look, and I will deny the color of the boots too, because I had to be special when it came to my Timbs. But yeah, and so what I'm talking about. You see that, and all of a sudden, Kevin and Milton, they go upstairs, with Eddie and Lehman, and he's like, hey, Alexander Cullen got a murder case now, you know what I'm saying? And John wants, Kevin, to be basically the head defense lawyer on this, you know what I'm saying? Which is an issue for, Eddie Barzone, but I mean, hey, but as that's happening, Marianne's mad because he left her alone, He was like, for 3 whole hours. Of course, to us, is like, man, I'm upstairs, work it, And sometimes that's probably the conflict that you see play out in reality, or real life now. People, say I'm doing this because of my job. I'm staying, 3 hours or whatever, because I'm rubbing elbows with important people at my job and whatnot. But then, it's causing a problem, with your relationship or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Moon had her change the whole look without her husband's permission on the first meeting. Exactly. He knew who to go to. The cut. Look, she said, "Don't leave her alone." Already, she don't want to be without a covering. But what happens? Bam. Got to it without the covering. you know what I'm talking about. So that always tells you to be present with your cover at all times. Don't let her out your sight. you know. Milton's office showed that he wanted to be high up and appear important. It was also symbolic of him wanting to be as his creator. Yes. I think you also see that with his room, you know what I'm saying, or where he lived, because it was just one big room. There was no bed, and even Kevin realized, it's like, where does he sleep? Who says he sleeps? You know what I'm saying? Y'all know the rest of the line. Everywhere, But yeah, that and I guess that's also shows that he's trying to be, like his creator, to be everywhere, and not sleep, just like his creator doesn't sleep, basically doing that on Earth, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, I have flirted with natural. I know, right? He was like, get your little. but yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And so, you have that, And then you see Marianne, hanging out with the girls, as they try and close, but then she see Jackie turn into a demon, and then she starts tripping. You know what I'm saying? Basically, you see her inner demon come out. You know what I'm talking about? And you see Marianne, she starts arguing. You know what I'm saying, with Kevin, like, don't you see that this is a big test? Like, it's a whole big test. And she understands what's going on before he does. You know what I'm talking about? And, it's destabilizing, I guess, her balance, seeing all these things, be everywhere and know something about everyone. Um, this is the energy of a familiar spirit. He seems familiar and uses complacency and comfort to slide in. Exactly. And which he does. And you see him do that on more than one occasion. You know, he's going to give complacency and comfort and slide in, like I say, more than one occasion in this movie. You know what I'm talking about? But, you know, Kevin's solution to all of this, as she's, basically breaking down, is like, let's have a baby. So, they smashing. But all of a sudden he sees Christabella, instead of her. And she knows, like, where are you? And he's like, I'm right here. And she's like, no, you're not. Because he changing up the stroke. Just say, and whatnot. That yeah, yeah, y'all know. Y'all know. And as we see, you know, um Kevin cross examine Alex, you know what I'm saying? And it starts to seem like, what I'm talking about, something ain't adding up with his story or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's not adding up. But then you see, Kevin's mom come into town, you know what I'm saying, and she meets John, at the elevator because they went out to eat. I know y'all wrong, but just in case, just, we gotta be civil. I ain't about to give all the details. I mean, dang, I ain't about to be that graphic. If y'all grown, y'all got eyes to see and know what. But John meets Kevin's mom, and he asks questions to actually bring out certain, have you ever been to New York before? And Kevin's like, no, this is her first time. And you see, she didn't answer. But also you see in his nonverbal language, like, he knows her. You know what I'm saying? But no. You also see John sort of tempt Kevin, with Christabella and her name should be Giselle. You know what I'm saying? Model looking like chick, right? And why those two girls are in the in the elevator, about to get it popping. John's like, hey, yo, you want to come? Let's go over the Alex Cullen case upstairs. He's, like, no, I'm good. You sure? He's looking at them. Do you listen at Mary Ann with a mean face? Like, you come upstairs. And all she did was jiggle the keys. And it's like, no, I'm good. Okay. And he knew her. Exactly. See that? And he knew her. Just like Adam knew Eve. He knew her. But his mom says, you need to do better with Marianne. She ain't well. But she says, I'll take her back to Gainesville, Florida. And he's like, no, this is home. No, 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 no. I'm working up here. I'm doing. He has every excuse, to not let her go back. Like I'm working all these. He's using his job as the crutch. You know what I'm saying? So you see that. Um, but you also see, him hanging with John. Uh, Marianne was a hyper emotional. She had to go. Well, I'm, I'm not about. I, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, she was a hyper. Well, yeah, she had. No, had to cancel. Well, just Nino the chick. Okay. But yeah, but Kevin is having fun with John. They going to the Roy Jones Jr. fight, you know what I'm saying? And whatnot. But before they get there, you see John getting into it with a Puerto, like with a Puerto Rican, like, excuse me, what the you look at on the, on the train. You know what I'm saying? And and here again, like I say, you see how he slides in to de-escalate one from getting stabbed or shanked by telling him, hey, your girl is with, dang, forget his name, but we're just gonna say Felipe. And they about to smoke crack, and then she about to get on your green sheets. Man, if you ain't right, oh, I'm right. You might want to hurry up. You take the next train coming the other way. You'll catch him. But he says it in Spanish. He says it in Espanol. But yeah, he says it in Spanish. And he tells Kevin something different. He said, I told him if he didn't leave us alone, you were gonna kick his butt, from here to the cab back, whatever. And but he's having fun, even after the fight. Look, he even gets to meet Don King, only in America, but Don King. I think that was interesting because one thing is that even as the fight is going on, Kevin is basically father son time, but Kevin picks the other guy to win and not Roy Jones, whereas John's like, you missing it. Roy about to get him, and he calls it. He's like, no. Then they go to a Spanish flamenco spot. For those that don't know, flamenco is a Spanish dance. Where you see, they stomp a lot with their feet, but it's a dance. Flamenco's very interesting, But as he's doing that, he's on the phone with Marianne, and she's like, "Man, I'm just with I'm with him. He's the senior. He's senior of the law firm. I gotta stay here. Whatever." And just having problems. But Marianne symbolized what happened when you take dreams and hallucinations too seriously. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's so true, Chief. Like for real. You know what I'm talking about. But speaking of dreams of hallucinations, she took, she sees, a kid, and playing, basically playing with ovaries, you know what I'm saying? And it's basically a foreshadow of herself. And so she tells Kevin that she can't really have children, and non ovarian failure. Well, they didn't say conclusive, but whatever. And she talks about it's not the time anyway. And because she comes, like, I guess, from a very fertile female lineage. And so she's the one that hasn't had one yet. And so that becomes a problem, and that sends her off the deep end as well. You know what I'm talking about? And also we see Kevin, going through pictures and talking about, you know, how before his wife died, I'm talking about, she knew that, Alice was having an affair and she could prove it. And basically they had sort of like a prenup where if he's caught with infidelity, she gets money. You know what I'm saying? The worst came, I got you, bruh. Let's not even go there. I got you now. Yeah, chick. I got something else. You know that, bruh. But that, and you see that, and because Marianne is having these issues. Even John's like, I'm gonna take you off the case. And he's like, what before? And John's like, here, you love this woman. Okay, then, so you got to be there for. She's sick. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'll understand. The world will understand. It's all right. But then here comes him. Kevin's like, what scares me? I leave the case. She gets better, and then I hate her for it. You know what I'm saying? I know. She says, Marianne cut her locks, which was a symbol of her strength. Yes, it was. And she slowly weakened herself and lost her principles and values to live the high life. I know, live the high life in NYC. She wanted to. She wanted to be like them Diddy girls in Manhattan, Fifth Avenue, whatever. She wanted to be like one of them, highfalutin and whatnot. She didn't want to be a country girl no more. She wanted to be a city girl. After that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, But that was also, when you say that, Chief, that's also like John's sort of way of disarming her by cutting off, which was her strength or whatever. You know what I'm saying? By cutting off the hair. You know what I'm saying? In the sense. Kevin is constantly chasing something that amounts to nothing while losing everything in the process. Exactly. He's, well, one, we all know he's trying to chase after Christabella. We already know that. And two, even when he see, and the funny thing about that is he sees like John got, John is established and he still want to be with this shit. And my player rules just says no. But he's chasing after, vanity and fame in the sense of his job and things like that. And all the while, his house that he's supposed to preside over, and the woman he's supposed to cover, they're falling apart. It's like that. It's like that part in Indiana Jones: The Last Crusades, and the they got the grill, and they can't go past the boundary. And when Elsa tries to, it's ours and yours and mine. The ground breaks up. And then he holds her hand, and she's like, "I can reach it." Then he's like, "Honey, your hand." She ends up falling into the chasm. And then what? Now anybody to fall in the chasm, and then you got Sean Connery's dad, holding his hand. He's like, "Dream, give me the other hand." He's like, "I can reach it. I can reach it, Dad." Same thing. That's what he's doing in a sense. He's trying to reach for that grail, but it's everything. He's about to end up falling. you know, um, Chief also says, big message for males chasing Western marriage in the film with the statement, if you can't have a relationship with your husband, you can at least have one with his money. Message. I mean, they would, hey, yo, man, I mean, you, I'm, you see it. You see it. You know what I'm talking about. You can have you can have one with his money, but I mean, and you know what? That's why you got failed marriages now. They want to have an affair with your money, and you know, I'm starting to realize now that economics is also grounds for warfare. You know, finances is the ground is a war ground or battlefield. You know, you don't want to do that. You know that comes into a fight, like literally a fight. You know, so you gotta be careful because you know you see it. You know, they'll have an affair with your money, and they ain't even with you, but they still have an affair with your money. You know what I'm saying? But and you weren't even shooting with me in the gym. But anyway, you know, but Master Ningula says, yeah, Marianne also gave into peer pressure super easy when it came to how she designed her home. Yep, she was wanted to fit in so badly. Homegirl was the first to start chipping away at her. Yeah. Um, He said Kevin should be banned. His pops is Beelzebub. That's why in the first church scene, he's in the doorway. He is half in like in half in the dark. Yeah. I mean you basically you see look chip off the old look the apple don't far from the tree and you see it with both of them look one may be taller than the other in a sense, but same mannerisms, same, you know. Some of us, um, just like our fathers in a sense, when they curse to certain things, you know, whether we look alike, you know, or same verbal language in a sense, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Um, yeah, she went from various levels of green uh, then to yellow, you know, loss of will and courage. Yeah, lost the will and courage because she was getting fed up. She was getting fed up. She couldn't make a choice of for herself, so she's gonna allow somebody else to do it. And they like, no, 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 you know. And what Jake said, she didn't. You know, I love green, but it's one thing to wear it, and there's one thing to put it all over your house. You know, not really, you know, rectifying the situation. Um, so yeah, you also have that, you know what I'm saying? And then you see, you know, basically I would say, you know, Kevin gets a partnership that he don't even know about, or basically coming for Eddie Barzoon's job. And why are they bothering? It's the wrong day. But and he's like, "Yo, you know, you know, you come from my job, you fight me head on. You know, you you back, you know, you sneak hit me. You know, we gonna really have a fight on our hands." But then he threatens, next time the Weaver Commission, come knocking at my door, maybe I just, talk to him, and he tells, John that, and then all of a sudden, you see Eddie gets Eddie gets killed in the park by running. Maybe he was in Central Park, but um you think about the vanity aspect. It's key to recognize that all that is happening as a result of Kevin losing himself, well, um, in his own reflection in a bathroom mirror. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chi. That's all. That's when it starts. You know what I'm saying? And mirrors in itself is also key because it's basically what um the reflection of not only him but also the people around him that you know sets off certain things. You know what I'm saying? Or shows that demon. You know, but you got Kevin also describes his distance from church as being a parole from jail. Babylon was free. Like shoot, I like that's me. Like even I describe me not going to church as being I don't like man. I'm free. You know, I'm out of I just got out. By the time I turned 16, I was like, man, I'm on. I got out for good behavior. I think I literally said that. I was like, man, I'm out for good behavior. I don't got to go back no more. I think all of us, some of us was like, for me, I really said that, man, I'm out for good behavior. I don't got to go back. uh, but yeah, he was, she was more than a narcissist for a split second. You know what I'm talking about? That's don't even play like that. You know, this is not this is not American Pimp. But but you also you see that, but as that's happening, you see Marianne is also reacting to it, and it's making her more crazy. But then you see, Kevin crosses examine Melissa, who's supposed to be having an affair with, Alice, and he even peeps and sees, hey, she's lying. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't that a mess? You know what I'm talking about? It's amazing. You know what I'm talking about? And it's like, even John's like, well, you know what? Maybe it's your time to lose. We all have to lose sometime. You know what I'm talking about? And maybe that's your time to lose. You know what I'm saying? But he don't want to lose. And that also speaks to his dang on humanity. You know what I'm talking about? That maybe it's also your time to lose. You know what I'm saying? And then, you have Marianne, tell, Kevin that, John raped him, raped her, really. Wow, I got him. You know what I'm talking about? But you know, he's like, you man, you lying. You know what I'm talking about? And he's also saying that basically, her body, you know what I'm saying, it's just all scraped up. He's like, he was with me the whole time. Also corroborating with her craziness. You know what I'm saying? But she's not lying. He's like, he was in my presence the whole time. It's like, doppelganger. But you also see, as they actually put her into a psychiatric facility, he she's like, basically all of this is consequences, for them taking the money. Like, this is blood money. We knew they were guilty. She even puts herself in that. We knew they were guilty, but we just kept taking the money. It's like um it was like they was pushing, when she said that to me, it was like they was pushing weight. What I'm talking about? They was pushing weight. It was like, hey, we knew what we were doing, but I mean, the money was good and we just kept on taking it. You know what I'm talking about? It is what it is. And then we see, Kevin goes to, she says, she was a form of Eve who couldn't have the rigors of a fallen Eve. Right. And so you have that, and at the funeral, we see Alex with his stepdaughter, and as he's messing, with his stepdaughter, Kevin is seeing this, and then he sees, Getty's face on Alice, and it trips him out, and he leaves, basically the cathedral, and then he runs into Warwick, no, Weaver, and he actually tells him what happened to Getty's. Once he got off the right case, he murdered a little girl. You know what I'm saying? But then he ends up getting clipped. You know what I'm saying? Um, Powell's working in that way when he gets clipped. So I like dang on what's that dang on movie? Because I used to hate it. That was a scary movie for me that I never wanted to watch. The movie with Damien. What they called it. It was three of them. Dang. Because I sure never wanted to watch that movie again. Because I got older. Uh, the Anyway, but same premise, Antichrist. But then you see, he goes to, basically the center, the Omen. That's what it is. That's what it was. The Omen. You want to talk about a scary movie? I never wanted to watch. I did not want to go to bed. But Antichrist gonna get me. I can watch anything else, but Damien and them, nah, like he gonna come get me. That was a scary movie for me. Ooh, I remember my father had to talk to me about that dang on movie because I was scared to go to bed. But yeah. Yeah, that one scared the bejeebus out of me too. I did not want to go to bed. But yeah. But when he goes to go see Marianne, he meets his mom. He didn't even know she was there, but she came. But then you see, Marianne, as he's about to talk to his mom about getting the secret that his mom actually came to New York and met his father up here. And then you have, her hanging with Pat, and then she sees that Pat's the demon in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? And she kicks her out, locks the door, and then you see, basically Marianne, kill herself. You know what I'm saying? I remember the original one that came out in '76. When he found out the 66 and they said, you buddy, bruh. I think that was, oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I was about to say, because man, we watched all three of them. No, we watched all two of them that night because they came on back to back. And man, but yeah, she sure enough found it, and I remember that part. But yeah, and you have, you see that, and instead of grieving, he goes to his mom and say, "Okay, finish the story," and then she tells him, that John was, is his father, and she's like, he found us somehow, he found us, and he's like, no, he's always been here watching and whatnot. Interesting thing is they could have been, well, demons, or their personalities may have just been demonic. I thought so too, Tree. I thought they were both their personalities and as well. You know what I'm saying? And they could have been demons as well. I also thought it was their personalities, also being reflected back that they probably didn't even know themselves in a sense, you know. Yeah, Pat just stood there because she already knew. she was an agent. She already knew. Know what I'm talking about? And and whatnot. So it is what it is, you know. But then even then he goes past and he's like and she tells her he's waiting for you. You don't have to be scared ever again. You know. So he goes see John. And like I said, this is my best man Oscar winning performance. This is Oscar performance right here. You know what I'm talking about. And he goes, it's like, Kevin, you are right. I have been watching, couldn't help myself, watching, holding my breath. Watching, waiting, holding my breath. But I'm not the puppeteer. You know what I'm saying? I just set the strings. You make your own strings, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I wondered the same thing when I saw how Eddie couldn't see the spirits chasing him in the park. Yeah, you know, it's like a gun. I don't know where Kevin got that gun, but he got a gun now. He's like, a gun in here. It's like, what did you do to my wife? He gets real country there. He was like, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, me and Mary Ann got around 7. you know, and he basically tells him, what I'm saying, you don't know what we have, what I'm saying, but he throws everything back at him. He's like, man, what I tell you to do? You know what I'm saying? I told you to take care of your wife, but no, you were too busy. And all of that, you thought about, better dealing her the minute you got there. I was like, yep. At this point, Kevin still has Marianne's blood all over his collar. Yeah. Say that she is dead because of him. You remember his name is Lomax. He has never mastered lower levels. Yeah, he didn't. It probably was, what? It was his client's gun. But who knew that he had it on him? Because he got that days ago, or whatever. But he did start belly dealing her, as soon as he started looking at Christabella. He was belly dealing her when he came to that old office. It happens. It totally happens. Look. He saw the penthouse as a heaven and then realized it was actually hell. That too, Chief. So that too, like he had it all and then realized that was the hell, man. You know what I'm saying? Hell on earth. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah. He said, I told you to take care of your wife, but what were my words to you? Maybe it was your time to lose. You didn't think so. Lose? I don't lose. I win. I'm a lawyer. That's my job. That's what I do. He's like, and I rest my case. Vanity is definitely my favorite sin. He's like, Kevin is so basic, self-love. It's not that you didn't love Marianne, it's that you were too much involved with someone else, yourself. Then he breaks down, it's like, you're right. And then he finds out, that Christabel is actually his sister. What's up about? Ain't the law, you is. Yeah, man, I'm not ill. for sure. But anyway, you got that. And so, he finds out that, like I said, Christabel is his house. Those things. He's like, Kevin, I had so many children, I had so many disappointments. You know what I'm saying? And he propositions them in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And then, she's like, well, who are you carrying all those bricks up for? I love that part. God, that me give you a little insight about God. He's a prankster. He gives man instincts. And I swear, for his own private, secret amusement, he sets the rules in opposition. It's the goof of all time. Look, but don't touch. Touch, but don't taste. Taste, don't swallow. And while you're jumping from one end to the next, he's sitting there laughing his well, he's a he's an absentee landlord. Worship that? Never. Better don't rain in hell than serve in heaven. Why not? I've had my nose in it since the whole thing began. I have nurtured every sensation man has been inspired to have. I cared about what he wanted, and I never judged him. Why? Because in spite of all his imperfections, I'm a fan of man. I'm a humanist. Maybe the last humanist. Who who could possibly deny, Kevin, that the 20th century was entirely mine? All of it, Kevin. All of it. I mean, he's taking his chest out like, bruh, I'm peaking now. It's my time now. It's our time, Love that part. But yeah. How do you see that, HOT? Okay. But yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? You say that's the key. All of this advocacy. At one point, Milton advocates for the Elohim, and now he advocates for himself. Lomas was the assistant DA, and then went to advocate for Satan when he then eventually himself. Exactly. That's what I thought that as well. It's like that part. Well, like that part in Superman where Marlon Brando says, the son becomes the father and the father becomes the son. It's like that. You know what I'm saying? And you see that play out. They both have, the pretty much in a sense the same path, in the sense of going in the same direction in a sense at that time. You know what I'm saying? This scene reminds me of the story of the serpent and Cain not being Adam's son. That baby don't look like me. For sure. But then, like I say, he propositioned Kevin, to run the farm, because like I'm busy, you know what I'm saying, and basically to run it with Christabella, and like say she's ovulating right now, basically get her pregnant, and he's like, "You want the Antichrist?" He's like, "I want a family." And he's like, Kevin, I want a family. I'm busy. Millennial's coming up. Title 5, round 20. He's like, ooh, I'm ready to work. But, as he's basically focusing on Christabel and a little bit, he's like, why the law, Dad? Why the law? But he's like, because the law puts us in, push us into everything. And then he, says, there's more lawyers, walking today or whatever. He said, we're coming out, guns blazing, the two of you, all of us, acquittal after acquittal after acquittal, But I found that interesting how in a sense he's right. The law puts them in everything. And you even see that when Cameron meets basically the board, of the farm, and all of them had a section in different law, maritime law, trade law, with a bunch of laws, not just criminal law, because but all different fabulous types of laws, what I'm saying? And you see that, what I'm saying? More law school students that are lawyers, yeah. And now, look how lawyers are begging and scraping for work. Yep. From 97 to this has changed tremendously. Yeah, Chief. for sure, man. You know what I'm saying? It really has. Cause that was one thing to be, man. You know, be a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Make that money. Now it ain't the same, you know what I'm talking about, but it is what it is, you know what I'm talking about. But then he's like, you know what I'm saying, as he's making on, Christabella, he's like, you know, it's time to take what's yours. And he's like, you're right, free will, right? All this is based on his free will. You know what I'm saying? And so Kevin kills himself, with the gun and messes up, John's plans. But then you see, like I say, son becomes father, father becomes son, right? Then you see, John change, from the old man to the young angel, you know what I'm saying, looking at each other and whatnot. But then reset, time is basically resetting that point, and Kevin is back, in the bathroom, at the courthouse, for the Gaddis case. And then, Larry's there. He's like, nice run, Kel. Had to close out someday. Nobody wins them all. And that horrible experience, like it never happened in that sense. And then you see, Kevin says, I need to be replaced as counsel. He doesn't want to represent Geddes anymore. You know what I'm talking about? And so, because of this, he may get disbarred or whatever, but he hugs Marianne with all her locks still there, and her hair is up. And he's like, she asked, what you doing? He said, the right thing. I think the right thing. Devils always, she said, devils always go berserk when they don't get what they want. Yes, they do. No! Okay. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah. And so, Larry talks to, as they're leaving, saying, man, this is, we got to get your story. You know what I'm saying? We talking, 60 minutes, and Kevin relents. He said, call me tomorrow. He said, you got it. First thing. But then you see Larry, turn into John. He says, vanity. Definitely my favorite scene, because even Kevin couldn't let that one go. He could say, I ain't doing that, but yeah, you can call me tomorrow. Warren Hart, lawyers are not the man anymore. And then you have, Painted Black by the Beatles, play it. I used to love, I have the movie on. I listen to the whole song. But yeah, but that gotcha. Alphabet soup style already. But that's the end of the movie, man, But like I say, this was a great movie, great movie. You know what I'm saying? If you understand certain things, you know what I'm talking about. Man, I ain't look, here I am, forgot something. Man, I was supposed to talk about Behold, I send you sheep amongst the wolves. Had in my dang on notes. I was looking for other stuff, but it but the entire verse, which is Matthew 10:16, is, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. That's the whole verse. It don't, it give you the snippet, but don't give you the whole verse. Sometimes you gotta read the whole verse. So, you gotta be wise as serpents, but harmless as a dove. But yeah. Word. Google and LegalZoom has destroyed that industry, just like the medical. Yeah, like WebMD and things like that. Where you could just diagnose your symptoms. Type in your systems and then it'll pop up for you. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I totally Totally feel you on that, Chief. Totally. So different. Where technology just takes over in that sense. So yeah. Join us join us next strong. Join us next strong. Yeah, because you're gonna have to really get prepared because we are talking about Full Alchemist Brotherhood, not Full Metal Alchemist. We talking about the remake, which is Full Alchemist Brotherhood. So make sure you got the Brotherhood in there, and it's not a live action. Chief, it is, but live action wasn't good and it didn't make sense. you know, to read the standard contract for you, or explain legalese, technology trumps. Exactly. See, he just told you 400 now. Just so you say all that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's an anime TV show. It's not a film. This is the Deidre. It's a series. You got episodes. The actual film, ugh, that live action was just a mess. But that's what I'm saying. It's not. We ain't talking about the live action. It's good. That live action was confused and a mess. It's like watching Attack on Titan live action. It's not the same. You do but yeah, we getting into that. Aren't in high demand due to Skillshare and like just look at that. Yes, there is a live action. Actually, that live action was on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on there, but yeah, it was on Netflix and it was a total mess because it was Japanese live action, and I watched it because, like I said, I didn't watch the show, but I watched that and I was like, I'm so confused. Where are we? It didn't make sense to me. It was just poorly done. It was just, but yeah. Any form is worth the time. Okay, Chief. Any form is worth the time. You right. Like the Germanic names. Well, I can tell you that, well, that's just, you got to understand Japanese history in the sense, they were the allies of Germany, for more than one war. So it's not a coincidence that you're going to see Germanic names. Gotta remember who their allies were. And probably a big influencer for them as well, in that sense during turn of the century. Were the Germans, so that shouldn't surprise you. But yeah, well, everybody. I was gonna say, I thought you knew, Sister Deirdre. I mean, but yeah, they were their allies in more than one war, so that that comes into influencing, in a sense. You peep that, but give thanks everybody for showing up and showing out. You know what I'm talking about? And like I say, me and Master and Minglet, we gonna do Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And we gonna have fun with that. Do it. Get into some alchemy and things of that nature, and it's gonna be interesting. But so that's what we on. Don't forget we got Shema tomorrow, so be on the lookout for it. And shout out to Achi Zach. Just hold on, just hold on a little longer. We almost there. I know you're on the West Coast. Just hold on a little longer. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It's almost done. But yeah, so give thanks everybody, and I'll see y'all next strong. Peace.